Hey Facebook Live, this is Rich Fontaine with another episode of Daily Motivation, 365 days of consistency, doing the same things over and over again until we create a habit of consistency and create a habit of mastering goals and our things that we're trying to do in our own lives. And before I start, please check out my new Instagram, Right to Grow Rich. That's right, number 2, Grow Rich, where you can check out our new daily planner. This is a planner that actually Jazz made to help a good writing schedule. That actually will keep you on task when you're writing your book. So this is actually great for an author. This will help keeps me writing more and more books. We actually have several other books coming out this year because this is what I do. Especially with my task or my team that really helps me out, especially my wife, she's awesome, and various other people. So let's get into the motivation. So last weekend, my wife was watching Disney movies and it reminded me of The Little Mermaid. I don't know if you've seen The Little Mermaid or remember it, but there's a song from Ursula, the villain, called The Poor Unfortunate Souls. I don't know if the poor unfortunate souls. such a good melody. You can find it on YouTube. But I've always found that so profound because if you remember, she would turn her victims into these small little crinkly creatures that had lack of strength, lack of will, just kind of down in the dumps, if so to speak. And what they would do is anything that came close to it, it would grab it and drag it down. If you remember the movie, whenever something got close to those creatures, they would always grab it and try to pull it down to them. And the part of the poor unfortunate souls is that sometimes when people are suffering, they're not doing things that will get them out of the suffering. They just wallow in their suffering. This is the state of being that I'm in. This is where I'm at. This is where I'm going to stay. And so their mindset is more victimization, and they're not actually doing anything, taking action to anything, reading anything, educating themselves to try to advance in life. They're just stuck at where they are and say, well, this is where I am. This is probably where I'm going to stay. But the issue is you want to show empathy for certain people. For all people, really. You want to show empathy. You want to have compassion. But at the same time, you have to be wary of certain people. Why? Because they have the energy to drag you down. Meaning, they're not trying to change their lives. They just want to complain about it. They want to talk about it. They want to reiterate the issues. They want to constantly bring it up. Whenever you're with them, those type of people. Whenever you're with them, they have sad stories, and they always want to tell you. They have the world's smallest violin, and they always want to tell you something that's going on with their life. Can't believe they fired me. Like, bro, okay, you talked about it already. Man, she played me, man. Like, I get that. I understand. Man, the economy, man. If the president knew what he was doing, then we probably would be in this mess in the first place. And I get all that. I get the emotions of it. But the issue is they're not actually doing anything to change the situation. Yes, they could complain about things and they could worry about things, but they actually don't do anything that actually makes the situation better. But what they do in reverse is actually pull you down to their level. Just like in the movie, whenever a time somebody came across those poor unfortunate souls, they grabbed them and pulled them down with them. Because misery always loves company. We always know that expression, misery loves company. It's true, misery does love company. Everyone loves company. They love company to the state of where they're at. And so where they're vibrating at, where their frequency is they want everyone to match that around them, to match that frequency, so they don't feel alone in their suffering. So even though you ever went to a person, you saw they were suffering, and you may have some good advice, some knowledge that may be able to bring them out of that suffering. So what do? You say, hey man, have you tried this? Or have you educated yourself on this? Or have you learned about this? And have you gained these skills? Or have you changed your mindset in certain things? Have you read this book? And I've noticed the hardest job in the world is to change people. It's the hardest job in the world. You really can't do it. You can only influence, right? So me as a speaker, I know I can't change anyone. Only them could change themselves. But I can be an influence, something to inspire to that will help you shift in your own mind to make the change. But what happens is these people become energy vampires. Energy vampires. They suck your energy because you're trying to help them. You're saying, hey man, you could try this. You're trying to give them advice. And they're like, oh yeah, that sounds nice. That sounds cool. But, and you putting so much energy trying to help them, all they do is just want to wallow. And that's taking energy away from you. Or there's a type that constantly every time they're around you, they just bring negative talk, negative talk, negative talk. They're the Debbie Downers of your group. They're always, oh, this is happening in my life. This is what's going on. And I'm not saying that it's not reality. This stuff happening in my own life, but I don't go around promoting it. I just don't, because that's not what I'm about. I'm about to inspire others. So regardless of what's happening in my own life, me doing these videos, inspiring others, helps inspire me to keep going in things and issues in my own days. But I only do that when I'm pushing out positivity. Some people just constantly have to push out negativity. It doesn't matter what advice you give them, and it doesn't even matter how you try to help them. They always want to complain, bring negative, bring negative, bring negative, and it sucks and zaps your energy. You know it. You be around some coworkers or some people at your job or in your group. Every time you're around them, you're just like, oh man, I feel tired. I feel tired. And there's some people you're around, you just get energized. Like, yo, man, Rich, let's do this. Let's go to Mars, bro. Let's do it, man. Let's get this called Elon. Let's get this popping. Because there's some people that bring energy into your life. They fill your cup. And there's some people that drink from your cup. And those are what I call energy vampires. And many energy vampires are just poor, unfortunate souls. They're tormented souls. And unfortunately, they don't realize that their torture is self-made. They're self-tormented. Because there's ways to get out of their issues. But again, they don't search for them. They just stay in their space, in their state of wallowing. And that drags other people down around them. Just their energy level, their vibration. Every time you're around them, you just feel tired. You feel less energy. And it feels like they're pulling you down. And those are the poor, unfortunate souls. Just like in the movie Little Mermaid. They just kept dragging everyone down that was near them. So my advice is, yes, empathize with people. Have compassion for people. Be nice to people. Have them in your heart and in your feelings. But make yourself better so you can help them. But don't be around them because it'll just make yourself worse. And two people that are blind cannot lead each other. One has to be the light. One has to be able to see. One has to be able to be clear. So two blind people cannot follow each other. So at least one of you have to stay in a state when your third eye is open, when you're aware and you're feeling the positive and you understand who you really are. And that has to be, you have to be a leader in that. But most of the time, the people around you won't understand it. They just keep trying to drag you down. So you just have to get your space. I know it's a social distancing, but even in your social media, there might be some people you have to pause for 30 days. Right? You have that feature in your Facebook to pause them for 30 days off your feed. Because especially if they keep putting up negative, you just can't be around those people, even virtually. You have to have your distance so you can keep your mind centered on where you want to be. That's my advice for today. Moving forward in this time that we're living in, that this is the time to center yourself. If you ever heard my record, The Seed, the very first thing I said to enter your journey is to get into your soil. It's to stay away from people so you can cultivate that seed. So you can add positive knowledge, positive books, positive information. But you have to be in that dirt sometimes. You have to be alone. You have to be in your cocoon. And that's the only way we can advance later on. But you have to take that time for yourself and away from the influences, and especially the energy vampires. Again, this is Rich Fontaine. You can agree with me or not agree with me, but either way I feel this was a successful conversation. I appreciate everybody had a chance to watch this live. If you haven't, You can check it out later. Again, if I didn't shout you out, just because I can't see you. Sometimes Facebook does that. But it's all good. I appreciate you taking your time. And please like, please share, please comment, and share this with other people so they could be influenced and inspired and get the good knowledge and to think a little bit. Like, who are energy vampires in my life? Who's dragging me down and who's building me up? I appreciate all of you. I love all of you. Love is love. I appreciate it. Gratitude always. Namaste.